What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about LTCN and BCHG Grayscale trusts today at the request of Dialogue Kayaker. Here we are. What a day we had. We were up, wow, 6%. Look at that. No, it's really nothing to get too excited about, right? We could have pumped 20%, and if you're doing short-term trades, that's a lot to be excited on. If you're looking to hold this thing for the long term, don't get excited yet. It's just a lower high, and then we'll probably go down. Actually, I wonder, how much would that be from the day's open? Let's say that'd actually be like a 56%. So even a 56% pump in a day, while yes, that'd be invigorating, that's nothing to get too excited for. Until we have higher highs, it's nothing to get too excited for. And LTCN, out of BCHG and GBTC and ETH, LTCN does have some lower liquidity. So seeing these rapid, volatile price moves, it's kind of to be expected, right? It's easier to move the price up and down, more or less. And maybe it moves up from here, maybe it doesn't. I've been giving you guys the warning signs, the forecoming signs the past like week and a half, 2 weeks probably, actually, like really literally since this day, since we had the big dump, that we could see a pullback all the way up. And look at that, literally the next day, actually, or 2 days after, from this low to that high, we went up 55%, and yet here we are coming down still. So could we go up from here? Absolutely. Will it sustain? Probably not. Let's look at this thing on a 3 hour to give it what it's got. If we were to take like a line, a trend line from this high to this high, we're still within this, and I don't even know if I like that. I kind of, as a diagonal line, which I don't really like diagonal lines anyways, I would probably like this more. But either way, it's going to be a lower high if it even goes there. You're below your green line, you're finding turbulence below it, you are hugging it, but all in all, the 3 hour RSI, to be fair, doesn't look half bad. It doesn't look like incredible, but it doesn't look half bad. The 1 hour and the 2 hour aren't as exciting. The daily, it doesn't look half bad, but you're definitely not in the right posturing, in my opinion. I would think you have lower to go. You did bounce right off that 40, to be completely fair, an area that you found support before. So maybe you do go up a little bit tomorrow or the next day, maybe throughout this week you go up, and that makes sense because I kind of expect Bitcoin to bounce. So you might see some excitement in everything that involves crypto, which would definitely, this would fall into. So again, just to give you like a kind of a whoa Nelly, I don't know what to call it, man, a little bit of a word of caution. Even if you see prices all the way up here at 1370 or 1450 again, yes, it's possible for LTCN to go up there and still go below these prices. I had somebody who I'll leave nameless, just because you didn't request this, but you also, it didn't sound like you wanted me to name you anyways, but you were asking me if I still believe that prices are going to go below $8, and to which I responded, my man, I might not have said my man, but my man, we're probably going to go below $8 still. Yes, I very much, not financial advice. None of this is financial advice. Of course, I can be wrong. I've been wrong before. We've all seen it. It's inevitable. I will be wrong again, man. It's literally inevitable. Accept it, because I've accepted it. It's impossible to be right all the time, and I'm definitely not right all the time, man. But here you are finding resistance at this 236 right there. Double tap on it. Generally speaking, whenever you get this double tap on the 236 after seeing support on the 382, that tells me that it's inevitable to go down to your 618, 69 area. But again, that's like generally speaking with fibs, that's kind of the expectation. We might hold support at the 0.5. We might hold support somewhere in between these. You don't have to hit either of these lines specifically. It doesn't have to work like that. I wonder if I can find an example real quick. I mean, it probably does respect its fibs. But I mean, yeah, that respected it pretty well. But again, the tip of it technically did end up in the middle of nowhere, not on a line specifically, right? If you went from the high here to the low, or the low to the high, okay, that was right on a line, to be completely fair. Not good examples, but I'm just saying it doesn't have to directly hit any of these lines, right? And in fact, actually, that might be a good fib to take. Oh, look at that. Look at that too, man. Hitting the extension's cool. So you went, just further kind of illustrating, actually, this is a good point right here. You hit the 2272 extension, but you went a little bit through it, right? Stopping in the middle of nowhere. Came all the way down to your 1272. On the way down, you checked at your 1414, hit the 1886. You're having destructive, like the opposite of constructive fib movements right? You're constructive to the downside. You're hitting everything. You're stair stepping downwards, and you just found double resistance on your 1618, which also happens to be the top. I'm glad that I did that. That was just a happy coincidence there, which just so happens to be also, that's not the right one. I'm sorry. That's also this 382, pretty significant in my opinion to reject, but it's also this 236. Where was the 236 at, man? Oh, I think it was from here. I think it was this one, wasn't it? Yes, it was. So a lot of significant fibs coming in around these highs. Again, it wouldn't surprise me if we went higher, but with all that significance there, I'm kind of in the boat of thinking that if you were to go higher, it's not going to be too much higher than these highs. I'm actually starting to doubt. I know I was saying that you could go above $14 even, but I'm starting to doubt that you even go above like 11.90. Like, I don't even think you'll see $12 again before breaking this low. So absolutely, I think that you'll go lower. Let's just see this relative fib here, actually. Yeah, you didn't even hit it, did you? I think 768 to 660 are very realistic price targets, and absolutely you can go lower. That 2272 on this relative, that's a deep extension on a smaller fib scale. You know, it looks a little bit bigger if I put it in a, maybe I have to put it on a 1 hour scale, something like that. That 2272 around $5, that's a very, very realistic price target as well. So absolutely, I think LTCN is going to go lower. I don't think that even if it does have a bounce from here, I don't think it'll be sustained. You tipped that line there, man. I wonder. You're looking like you hold this 123 on the hourly. There it isn't. There it isn't. There's that disrespect. So maybe not. But still, sloping downward, neutral, whatever. And then of course this one is high, but it's very common to come back and find support as you did before, you know, previously. And in fact, actually, if we look at this thing for what it's worth, you know, since we've been messing with it to the upside, great times to buy were below the line. The best time to buy, you know, that would have been a good time to buy, don't get me wrong, in comparison to like even over here. But relatively speaking, if you bought right here, you probably felt really smart, especially like with the aftermath to take place afterwards. And then here as well. So what I'm trying to say is below the green line is probably a good area to buy. Right now, that green line, that 123 moving average, you can see it here, it's at $7.02. And as the days go on, it'll continue to move up a little bit more. Let's see what it was yesterday. $6.98, it's at 702, so it's moving up at like a 4-cent pace. So as the days go on, it'll, you know, 10 days from now, it'll be up at like 740. But I kind of would expect that we start moving down in the next 10 days on this. It's not 10 days from now, it's 10 stock days, if that makes sense. So that's LTCN. I spent a lot of time. I wouldn't say way too much time, but I spent a lot of time talking about it. Hopefully I gave you guys some new things to think about also, but also just the main point reinstated over and over and over again. Don't get excited about the bounces. I mean, get excited about them, especially if you're playing the short game. Get excited about them, which I don't recommend that anybody plays the short game, especially new traders. How do you know if you're a new trader? Even if you have positive results, how do you know if you're a new trader? You might be killing it, man. You might be on a 10 trading winning streak, and it's your first year trading. You're a new trader, because that can mess you up, man. 10 trades winning in a row. I've been there, man. I've had 30 successful trades in a row in my first 3 years trading, and then I had one trade that cleaned out all those. And then I lost even more than I'd made. I was down on my initial position, because anybody can win, but not everybody can lose. And that sounds opposite, because 90% of people lose. And don't get me wrong, I do think that that's true. 90% of people will not make money in stocks and in crypto, right? We're here to make money, hopefully, right? But we have to take profits. But also, whenever I'm saying that you don't know how to lose, that new traders don't know how to lose, what I mean by that is, when you start losing money, when you start going in the red, you're just like in this mind frame for whatever reason. And not everybody, but a lot of people are. Well, I'm in it now. I'm in this trade. I'm just going to let it go to zero, and who cares? Like, you can't have that, man, because it will go to zero if you have that mind frame. You know, if you're buying spot prices like here, obviously, like, I think that you're fine with the kind of mindset of not caring how low it goes, right? Because I would say with a very high degree of certainty, we're not going to go below here. We're going to find a higher low. So even if it were to drop 50, 60% from here, that would suck if you're in it. But if you're not in it heavy, you have cash on the side and you can just scoop it up more as it goes down. that's great, that's great, but absolutely not. Even with this, even at a spot price, should you have the mentality of, well, if it goes to zero, I guess I'm just going to hold it all the way down to zero? You should never have that. You should have a area where you just look for other things, right? Or like where you look to put your money in other things. Maybe not necessarily getting out, but like if you're doing short-term trades, absolutely you need an exit strategy. And I know I kind of went off there. I know that kind of probably didn't make a lot of sense, but it's just it all depends, man. It really all depends on how you're going about this. If you're going to do a long-term trade, if you're going to do a short-term trade, and really how I started talking about this was short-term traders don't know how to lose, right? They don't know how to take losses. And that's the thing. How do you know you're a new trader? Probably less than 5 years, less than 4 years of experience, you're a new trader. And odds are, most of us, right? I've got more than that under my belt, but I say us because I was in that same situation. We don't know how to lose. You don't know how to lose. And that's what separates the winners from the losers, and that 90% of people don't make money, that 10% that do in this game, is that the winners actually are the best losers. They're the best losers in the whole game. You can only make money if you know how to lose, like truly in this game. If you're going to be a trader. If you're an investor, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different because you can just kind of wait and things will come up if you catch them at the right time and you're in the right projects. It doesn't require that much critical thinking, which again is why I would suggest that nobody, and not financial advice, but nobody trade if you're a new trader. You shouldn't be doing the short-term stuff. It's very exciting. It's very tantalizing. It's kind of like casino gambling, right? Like you get this little like rush. It's fun when you make 10 winning trades in a row, but when that, man, again, like I said, I had 30 correct trades in a row. I was keeping track of them, man. I had my notebook and everything, and I'm like, damn, I'm on a roll here. And at 10, I was like, well, I'm going to lose eventually. Like I got to be prepared for that. But I kept going, and then that one loss cleaned out all of those gains. And that's what I'm saying is like that inexperience on how to accept a loss and how to get out whenever you should. That's something that it just kind of takes time. It takes time, and it takes getting the hell beat out of you, being proven wrong several times and just like being put in your place kind of. And so with that, if you are trading, you want to learn that stuff. You're going to have to take losses. So maybe bet smaller amounts of money. Like don't if you want to have a long-term investing account, that should be 95% of your money. You want to trade, maybe 5%. And when I say your money, I mean money invested. You should have a solid bit of money, or at least some portion of money on the side. Most of my money is definitely invested, but I have a solid bit waiting to get in still, right? Ever since I've been pretty certain that we were going to see a drop when the Bitcoin ETFs got approved or denied, whenever that news came out, I've been stacking cash. I stopped putting money into crypto. I've been putting out warning signs and videos saying it's not a good time to get into crypto, right? And I myself have been stacking up cash, and I think everybody should do that. You should always have cash on hand to buy the dips. But man, I'm just going all over the place with this video today, aren't I? I hope I didn't confuse anybody. I hope some of this got taken as as a means to help, as good advice, but not financial advice at all. It's just it's just my opinions, what I've learned, what I've experienced, how I go about my stuff when I interact with opportunities, and that's really all lower prices are. That's really all lower opportunities are. Is they're just lower prices are. They're just opportunities. And when you start seeing that, you're gaining experience as a trader when you stop looking at losses or like red as like this, oh no, it's the end of the world, and you start looking at it as like, get me my knife and fork, bro, it's time to eat. Like that's when you're doing things right. And it's a lot harder to keep that mental steadiness when you're doing the short-term stuff. It's a lot easier to do that when you're doing the long-term stuff. And I'm sorry I got caught up in this, but I don't plan these videos out, man. I plan on what I'm going to talk about as far as like what asset, but what comes out of my mouth, it just happens to be this today. So anyways, let's get back to the task at hand. Let's talk about BCHG. Here it is. From low to high here. 382s all the way down at $1.78, right around your weekly green line there. I absolutely think you're going to go there. Absolutely, I do. In fact, probably a little bit below it. Let's compare it to what it's done on its way up here. So bottom here, to this relative top. You went just above your 382. Okay, so that's not a good example. Here, you went just below your 382. So that is a good example, right? And then here, bottom, same bottom to top here, just a little bit, but kind of like a double bottom. So you didn't have to go as low, right? This one went a lot lower, like not a lot lower, but sizably lower than this, right? You can see it, right? A decent prod into that black space there, where this not so much, and that's because you kind of had your double, triple bottom, whatever there. So same kind of idea here. 382s right here. I would think that you are going to go just below it there, maybe to $1.55, which, hey, look at that. Support right here, right there at $1.52. Previous resistance right here, previous support right there, just below your 382. It makes sense to me, but maybe you don't. Maybe you hover around here for a second, but you probably do go below $1.78, but like just barely. And with these things, man, you know, BCHG has a lot less liquidity than BCH does. There's more liquidity in BCHG than there is in most Greyscale trusts, but if you're looking to buy this thing at $1.80, there might be a lot of people in line ahead of you. There might not be enough liquidity, so be prepared for that. You might get a prod down there. Maybe there's only like $10 worth, $100 worth, $100,000 worth, but there's probably going to be more than that in buy orders down there. So if you don't have your buy orders set already, if in not financial advice again, but what I would probably do is I would look to buy a little bit higher. Expect that the price will go below $1.78. It might even go all the way to $1.50, but get your buy orders in a little bit higher. And don't be upset if you buy up here and it goes down and you start feeling like that FOMO, that panic selling. Don't hate me. You know, this is how I do it. This is my opinion. That's why you come here, right? That's why you watch these. You want my opinion. None of this is financial advice. You do how you want to do it. But that's how I do it. I don't, especially on low liquidity things, I accept that I'm not going to be God, that I'm not going to be perfect, because honestly, just with anything, you can't be perfect, but especially low liquidity stuff. And I say that, but this thing is pretty high. I mean, like look at how high the liquidity is. Let's see. Top on the volume there, 5 million, and the price was at, on a closing basis, $4. So that's like $20 million right there, right, in 1 week. So there's definitely liquidity in this thing. But you know, if you've got like people who are trying to buy a lot, you might be last in line. These order books, people who are looking to buy down here, the market makers, people who are, you know, with Greyscale itself, or people who just know what they're doing, they've probably had their buy orders set already. And if they have a lot of money, a sizable amount of money, and here you are trying to buy $100 worth or $1,000 worth, you're probably last in line at this point. So nothing wrong with taking advantage of that mentality and trying to buy a little bit higher, because again, you're going to find, in my opinion, you're going to find more success not trying to sell the exact top, but just trying to sell around it, right? Like, you might not get the circle, but if you get the box, you're good, right? You're not going to be able to buy the exact bottom, but if you can get somewhere in that box, you're good, right? You're going to have opportunities to do that. So just keep in mind, yes, Bitcoin Cash Greyscale Trust did go up today 14%, but I'm not phased, man. It's still a lower high. If you look at this thing on a 2 hour, you can see how truly like non-impressive this thing is. Kind of actually, to be fair, it kind of looks like an Adam and Eve, like a short-term Adam and Eve, which can fail, but you're still noticeably in this downtrend, right? Like, absolutely. I mean, however you want to cut it, you know, you're still in this downtrend. Maybe you do move up more. Maybe you move up to about 390, 385, but then you probably move down. The 2 hour actually does look pretty constructive, I'm not going to lie. But let's see what BCH is doing, right? BCH ain't doing anything, and it actually looks like it wants to roll over, to be completely fair. So I'm sure that this is just happening because Bitcoin at some point today was looking a little bit better, and I do think that we get a little bit of a bounce with Bitcoin here soon. But we might not. I can be wrong on that, man. You know, the days, this look right here, bouncing off the oversold zone on the RSI, it does look nice. I kind of do expect that we'll see prices potentially around 42 to 43K. But we might not. You know, we might turn around at 41K. We might turn around at 41.5, you know, 41.2. But in that excitement, we might see BCHG and the other Greyscale Trust pump up a little bit. So with that in mind, again, as I like to end these videos with, you know, it's not advice, it's just my opinion, is don't FOMO. Don't get excited. You know, if you're doing the short-term stuff, which I really wouldn't recommend anybody, unless you're an experienced trader, I wouldn't recommend anybody does short-term stuff. And if you are doing short-term stuff, do it with the very like 1% of your portfolio. You have $1,000, use $10. Like literally, trade with $10 because odds are you're probably going to lose it. That's not negative thinking. I'm just being real with you. You're probably going to lose it. And wouldn't you rather lose $10 off of your total $1,000 portfolio than $100? Because now you got to make up 10% of your portfolio. I'm just saying, while you're learning, accept and understand who you are as a trader. You're a novice. You're new. You're gonna make mistakes. The experts, the best traders in the world, they lose a lot of money too. They're wrong as well, but they know how to be wrong. You're still learning how to be wrong. Anybody can be right. Anybody can ride that train, ride that dragon. But only the pros take profits, right? Anybody can make them. Only the pros take profits. So if you are in short-term trades, remember that it's a short-term thing. That's why you're using a little bit of money, because you could turn a little bit into a decent bit and add that to your stack and turn that into a lot over time with the safer long-term plays. Because even the most experienced traders in the world, they have most of their stacks in long-term holds. And I'm getting back to the point of do not FOMO. Don't do it. It breaks this line. Do not FOMO. It's still a lower high. Don't FOMO. Don't do it. Diagonal lines really don't mean anything anyways. So, but maybe we don't do that. Maybe we only move up here and then down. Maybe we just crap out tomorrow. I don't know. It's probably all dependent on Bitcoin anyways. But that's all I got for you guys. I do think BCHG has lower to go. I do think LTCN has lower to go. Absolutely, I do. I guess taking a relative fib here just one last time. Yeah, I think below $2 is in the stars for BCHG. Probably. Yeah, and that's all I got. So hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you all for coming and hearing those rants. I know some of you like them, maybe some of you don't, but I was just feeling it today, I guess. So take care. Bye-bye.